next meeting of the Whitman-Hanson Regional School District. Would everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes. Yep. Thank you. There is no public.
No public comment?
Nope.
No? Okay, thank you. All right, so then we will move to, yes.
Chair, can I ask to move something up on the agenda?
Can we do the meeting minute?
To move the open meeting section up.
Yep, can we do the meeting minutes first, since those are really quick?
Okay. If you choose to.
Okay. Okay, so approval of meeting minutes. First, we're going to do June 4th, 2025. So I'll take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve? Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Oh, all of our votes have to be roll call votes,
Yes,
I'm sorry. Kara?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Yes? Chris?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, and then motion to approve the meeting minutes of June 18th, 2025.
Motion?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
I don't know if this is irrelevant, but my name is misspelled a couple different ways in the, well, it's misspelled, it's, no, I don't mean to call you out, but I don't know if, for the record, if it just needs to be, it's just two different spellings throughout the meeting minutes on the 18th. So I just wanted to,
We'll fix that.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay, all right, so do we need to?
No.
Okay.
We can make that.
Okay.
All right.
Not a substantive change.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor, roll call vote. Kara?
Yes.
Ryan?
yes.
Hillary, yes. Chris?
Yes.
TJ?
Yes.
And Stephanie?
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
All right, great. Thank you. Okay,
You want to move that up?
yeah, Rosemary, you wanted to make a motion?
Yes, the motion to move it, to start the meeting with, mix it up and start with the open meeting law violation.
Okay, so moving letter I up on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay,
I'd like to second that.
okay. Anybody have discussion? All right,
I'd like to make a quick statement.
okay. On discussion, we have to vote first? Or,
Yes, discussion on if you're going to do that, yes.
So we have a motion and a second to go out of agenda order. So there's been a motion and a second. It's roll call vote now to move it, to move I up first. Okay? That's clear?
that make sense?
So we're
Yep.
having discussion about moving it up or discussion about the agenda item?
Nope, just.
moving it up.
To moving it up.
Moving it up.
Yep. No discussion? Okay. Roll call vote. Kara?
Yes.
Okay, Ryan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Stephanie? Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we're going to then take letter I first. Letter I is open meeting law complaint and resolution. So go ahead, Rosemary.
Yes, thanks. Before we begin this meeting, I would like to address an issue that occurred at two committee meetings in April of this year. On April 9th, school committee member Edward Hale was addressing the school committee. I believe that the position expressed by the chair was based on inaccurate information. I did offer to email him privately what I believe to be pertinent facts, which he may not have been aware of. Then on April 16th, prior to the start of the meeting, I did email the members of the committee information regarding the matters on the agenda for discussion that evening. A member of the public fielded two different complaints regarding this incident, alleging that I had violated the Massachusetts Zoning. Well, my goal as a school committee member was always and always has been transparency, and as much as possible, and to disseminate as much relevant information to the public as possible. I now realize I probably should not have offered a private email to Mr. Hero information during the public meeting, because even though it did not ultimately end up being something, simply making the offer could understandably confuse members of the public who would not have access to that information. And I was offering to send simply. I should have submitted information emails to the committee members on April 15th prior to the posting of an agenda. I also just sent out a quick email with information that, sorry, I wrote this down, I apologize. So that the information could be made available to the members of the, but it wasn't made available to the public. During that meeting, I think Laura Kemet and a few others, Justin Evans and another Whitman select board appropriately expressed concerns about my email. I apologize to the school committee, town officials, and the general public for both towns for my actions following this incident. I will be attending additional training regarding the Massachusetts opening law, and it'd be my hope that many of my colleagues will be joining me to help us all avoid any of the future, inappropriate actions that may, that may end up in open meeting law violations. They're more complicated than you think. I have released all the emails I sent to the committee, which is now available to all members of the public. Additionally, moving forward, I'll contact the chair before if there's any communications of the public can't have it. I certainly regretted any frustration that was caused for members of the public by my actions, and I look forward to continue to serve my constituents going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosemary. Well, all right. So,
I'll just start.
superintendent's report?
Thank you. Thank you, Rosemary. Welcome back, folks, from a short summer break. We're ready to rock and roll here for opening day next week. I just want to do a little review on what happened in the summer. As some folks know that schools don't really shut down over the summer. We have multiple programs for students, both academic and non-academic, to support students and families during the summer months, so that their students have something to do other than just hanging out at home. So over the course of the summer, we had extended school year services for students on IEPs. We had 93 elementary students taking part in ESY, 26 preschool students taking part in ESY, and 58 high school students taking part in ESY. We also had summer school for students at the high school level who might not have had academic success during the course of the school year, giving them a chance to earn some credits over the summer. And 32 students were enrolled in our summer program, 4 students being out of district that took classes here. We also had a summer enrichment program, which was extremely successful, and 141 middle school and high school students took part in that summer enrichment program. So, needless to say, the buildings were pretty occupied, at least Duval and the high school for ESY and summer program. Camp Conley also had a camp. Whitman Middle had a athletic camp, and Hanson Middle also had an athletic camp. And we hosted extended school year services from the Y, more like daycare and things for families at Duval School and Indian Ed School. So first year we used 2 different buildings, and they were both substantially staffed by the Y, and parents took advantage of the Y summer programs. So we're pretty busy over the summer, and tomorrow, I'll get into it tomorrow about tomorrow's tour, but facilities and operations had to dig in after the students were gone, so they've been working the past couple weeks diligently to prepare the buildings for opening next week. So in preparation for opening, I want to talk about, so we had our administrators came in on Monday. We started with administrators. New teacher orientation, which took place Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have a nice group, it's a smaller group of new teachers this year, based upon some budget implications last year, which we all went through. But we had to replace some staff. We are fully staffed going forward, even for some of our folks that are taking an extended leave of absence, either through parental leave or through sickness. But we are fully staffed going into academics next week. Nick maybe I can grab you just for a minute up here, talk about the new program you put in with kindergartners. I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I thought it was pretty successful today and last Friday, and something brandy new that you brought to the district.
Yeah, so we're really excited to be offering our Countdown to Kindergarten program. Friday, we had our first event, which was at Channel Farm in Hanson. It was wonderful. The kids got to pet the animals, do pony rides. Today, we had our field day, and it was hosted by our football team, which was amazing and wonderful. And on Monday, we'll do our meet and greet. So the principals will be reading to their kindergarten students. So we're really excited. So it's been great.
Any questions for Nick on that at all?
Thank you.
And open house for elementaries are Tuesday from 4 to 6, or from 4:30 to 6. We keep messing up my times. And we open at 7:05 at the high school on Wednesday. We had our public safety meeting yesterday. We do an annual public safety meeting, meet and greet with our principals, with the officers, a new police chief, and some not new hires, but promotions in the Hanson Police Force. Our PD and FDs will be out in force on opening day, as always, high-fiving and fist-bumping our students as they walk in the door. Very successful meeting yesterday, and it's good to have that collaboration with both FD and PD in both communities. George, anything else that we can think on summer or preview for opening?
No, just the invitation to include that.
Yes, sorry. On that note, every committee member is also, we're doing a topping off ceremony, which is the signing of one of the beams for the new Whitman Middle School. If folks are around on Friday, the 29th, at Whitman Middle School, where students will be signing the beams, the building committee will be signing the beam, and if school committee members are around on that Friday, please join us. It's not a long, diligent ceremony. It's not like groundbreaking, but it's just something that we think is nice. Yes.
I know you're talking about being fully staffed, and I know there were some changes this summer, given all the things that have changed from the list we were given back in May of positions cut. Is there or could there be a new list of positions that that have changed? Have there been changes since that preliminary list we did before the votes in May? And I know that, state aid came in a little bit more, and I know we talked about resignations and things that maybe made changes to what those cuts were that were announced in May. Could we get a list of positions that were eliminated?
Sure. So in September, I can give you the list of eliminated positions.
Yep.
And we'll also update enrollment.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll do a prelim enrollment in September, and I will tell you right now, we're down in kindergarten especially. Projected enrollment at Hanson, at Indian Head was 100. I'm at 81. So it's significant, and I don't know if it's a bubble. Duval had a bubble a few years ago, but we are down enrollment across the board. Kindergarten, not a whole lot in Duval or Conley, but Indian Head in specific is down about 20, and 25 from 2 years ago. So it was over 105 in 23, 24. But I'll provide that.
Okay, thank
Give you an update.
Stephanie?
You may have mentioned, and I just didn't hear it, but I just wanted to point out that ninth grade orientation for the high school is tomorrow
Yep.
at 6:30. And only because I saw somebody on Facebook
Yep.
say, when is that?
Yep.
So
Thank you for
just wanted
that.
to
And I figured Dr. Jones would give a shout out again about that. Yes, George?
Just one thing, if you have the ability and the time to make it to the topping off ceremony, it is actually on the site itself, so closed-toed shoes.
Yes.
It should be what you're wearing for that, just in case.
Okay.
Okay?
Hard hats?
I'm thinking,
That, they probably won't have that because they'll be set up. Usually when you go on, you have to
Yeah.
put the vest, you have to put on the hard hat, and you're supposed to wear closed-toed shoes. I'm assuming it's very dusty there, and they're gonna have a crane, they're gonna place the last beam will be placed. So if you are able to make it, I'm just asking that you bring a pair of shoes or wear those that day.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the reminder.
Any other questions or topics for review opening summer? It was busy. It's always busy. And I think tomorrow, and I mean, I'm just going to highlight tomorrow, item J. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, we'll start at the high school, those members that are available. Usually the track that I take is high school to Indian Head to Hanson Middle to Duval to Conley to Whitman Middle. So that'll be the track. If anybody, gave you my cell. If you can't join right at the beginning, text me and I'll tell you exactly where we're at. It's good. You get to see classrooms. that you might not have ever seen, get to walk through. The buildings are in a good shape. The summer crew that we hire, some college kids to do a lot of the grunt work of pulling desks in and out, they work their tails off, and they were really good this year. Sometimes we have a little groups that aren't so awesome. These guys were really, really good and worked really diligently. So it shows in the building, and it shows in the fact that we could get things done. Item 2.
Hold on, Carol.
Sorry.
This is redundant for everybody here, and I think I said it last year too, but I just want to reiterate that for the general public, that like what you're saying, Jeff, that these buildings are not closed up and vacuum sealed over the summer, that there is educational and community-based activities that are consistently going on that come with utilities and overhead costs and wear and tear on buildings that I just want to kind of be mindful of.
I appreciate that. On that note, we actually had to, during the summer, I'm talking summer, I had to shut the main office down for a couple of days because it was 95 degrees. It was literally 91 in my office because we had to repair the rooftop unit, which was approved, but it was prior to the new fiscal year. So that last week of June was challenging. But you're right, the buildings are in session a lot. And operations does the best they can sometimes, and sometimes they might not be as polished the first week of August as they are the first week of September. So thank you for that. This is for MASC. This is just an FYI. On September 24th, we will be hosting a workshop here with our field rep to go over the role of a school committee person, and also what Rosemary just talked about as far as open meeting, a presentation on open meeting potential violations, and a few other items that he's going to bring up to the group and address any other questions that you may have. So I'm thinking it's going to be between an hour and a half and 2 hours, same time, 6:30 to 8:30 on the 24th. That is not a school committee meeting. It is a workshop for the school committee. And on that note, MASC has also listed their fall conference, the MASC conference is November 12th to the 14th. If you choose to go, it's a discounted rate if you let them know and me know before September 1st. It's a good conference. We've gone as a team. Members of the committee have gone in the past. If you're available, you can go a day, you can stay over. It's really a Wednesday to Saturday conference. We've always left on Friday. There's some votes that take place on Friday night and Saturday. The packet or their conference data, what the workshops will be, I assume will come out after the 1st, if they haven't already sent that to you. So it is good if you have an opportunity to get down to the Cape. It's a good conference. It's good networking for the committee members. And most of the workshops there are tangible and worthwhile to go to. All kinds of different things come up. So let us know if you want us to register you, or you can register yourself. People stay right on site. And I don't even know what it's called, the Irish Village now. It used to be the Hyannis Resort and Conference Center. We've always stayed off-site at either the Holiday Inn or the Marriott that's on the other side. So it's by preference, and there's some money available for reimbursements for school committee members. So if you choose to go down, it's a good opportunity to network and see what other districts are doing and what's out there as far as rules, regulations, and we usually steal some good ideas for us. So let us know.
Thank you.
Operational review of business, George?
Good evening, folks. I just want to update you on something that's going to be taking place. Every few years, we try to do an operational review of some system. For those of you that have been around for a few years, we did one of technology a few years ago. That was pre-breach. We will be doing one of facilities next year. Last year, we did some curriculum ones and some special ed ones. And this year, we're also going to be doing an organizational review of our business department soup to nuts. So we're working with a couple of different agencies that provide this kind of work. We're trying to get some scope of work. We're trying to get some contracts out there, but I just wanted to bring it to you. Some of the things they'll be looking at are, what are our job descriptions for the members of the business department? What is the overlap in those job descriptions in case, for example, the payroll person's not in? How do we do that? What are our processes of communication, both verbally
to each other, to the department, within the department, and then also from a technology standpoint, what are they? So for example, does your Munis system, which we use, interact and effectively well with the HR system? Does it interact well with our Power School, which is what we use to bring candidates in and to enroll our staff? How do we work out things like MTRS? And the goal is, we've had a lot of change and turnover in the business department in the last few years, and we're actually looking to record what we do against best practice, try to find things that we can improve on, try to find our strengths and our focus areas, and then move forward in a fashion that attacks it systematically, so that when we have meetings with you folks, that we can say, according to best practice and the research we've done and the work we've done, this is why we're choosing A, B, C, and D. So it's an effort to become more efficient. Nothing is finalized, but I did want to let you bring it in. I did want to mention it to you, rather. And some of the work is, what is the interaction of the business department, the superintendent's office, and all of you? So there will be, I'm assuming after talking to these people, I'm assuming that there's going to be times when they're asking questions of you, you're asking questions of them, they're saying what roles should be, what can they be, and then we're trying to move forward with a cohesive, this is best practice, and this is what Whitman-Hanson does, this is what Whitman-Hanson believes in, this is what Whitman-Hanson wants to strive for. This might be focus areas or weakness areas, but then a plan of attack that we can all work on together for those times to become more efficient and improve. So there'll be more to come, but we wanted, we seem to sometimes not focus on maybe education as we always want to, because other things come up. And so now we want to say, okay, so what does the outside experts say, and then how can we get better? So that's coming. I just wanted to let you know. I will keep you updated. If there is such a time that if this all works out and so-and-so wants to meet with members of the school committee, Jeff will get that out to the chair and vice chair, and we'll go from there. But it's an effort to become more efficient about what we do both internally and externally, what we do for reporting, and I just wanted to make sure that we're all aware of it so there are no surprises.
Stephanie?
Is that something that's a line item in the budget that we plan for, or I'm just kind of curious about the cost?
I don't know the cost yet. I know that we have some contingencies in the budget because this is something that I was thinking about from existing funds only. This would not be in addition to any funds in the budget. This could be a realignment of some of the expectations in the budget that we had, but this has been something that we've been looking to do, and there's not a lot of active companies that handle this part. So one of the companies that we're looking at is former people that worked for DESE that are now doing this on their own. And so they understand regional school systems and they understand regular school systems. But it would sort of come under the PD and other expense lines that we have, because it would improve. If we're improving anything in the business department, the eventual role is that we'd be improving something for kids along the line because we'd be more efficient.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I think on that note with George, we've talked about this last year. Being a regional district in this area, we're like a unicorn. The other one that we can talk to is Bridgewater-Raynham, and they're having major issues as well. So we're trying to get a best practice of how do we run our own little city. You know, I call Abington, they're totally different. No, we got this here. So the furthest away we go down at Dennis Yarmouth, everybody has their own system. So we've talked about this at length, and we talked about potentially doing operations next because we do our own there. DESE's always having us do reviews of curriculum, reviews of special education. What we lose are some of our internal mechanisms that we're just trying to wing or have done in the past. And the business office itself has taken multiple hits as far as personnel since we've been in that place. You know, this person's gone, we eliminated that job, we condensed this person's going to pull it up. So that realignment of potential job descriptions is very important for us as well. And getting an outside source is beneficial for us.
Okay.
George, I'm curious if, as you get further down the path with this, another question I would have for, whatever this consultant is or whoever is, if they have best practices around liaising with town finance officials, like that, because I think that's, as we talked about at length, that's been an ongoing challenge in terms of figuring out how to keep those communications open. So that would be something that would be curious about.
And I think it's going to be one of those, needs assessments they do, needs assessments we do. We come up with, hey, this is what we'd like to focus on, and then we move into talking to people internally, externally, talking to folks like yourselves on school committee, and then saying, what is it that we can improve on? And then they come up with the document, and then if you move in that direction, what are the ramifications financially and just strategically in order to complete that?
I just want to say, I fully support it. I mean, my father was a quality assurance engineer for years, and he went around with a cup of coffee and a clipboard and said, what do you do? And, documented everything. I think standard operating procedures and doing reviews is amazing and important. For the public to know that this is
should be a
something
cost,
that
yep.
we are planning for, it was, it's not frivolous. So
Correct.
it's to
Correct.
make things better.
And it's also, I think it's also important that, like, for example, like I can run many projects, but I don't know all the intricacies of every single project. So one of these things we're doing is to say, based on best practice, based on best research, it'll also allow people like myself, people like Jeff, people like Nikki, people like Steve, people who, to say, where can we get better? Based on these things, what to look for. We do it in education all the time. Like, what's a fourth grade look for? I didn't teach fourth grade, but now I can look at what's a fourth grade look for because the Department of Ed puts that out. So those are some of the things that we're also trying to do, because obviously with knowledge becomes more efficiency.
Sure.
So that's the goal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to just do the surplus books?
Okay, so in your packet, there is a letter
Yep.
asking for us to approve book surplus request. Do I need to read this?
I think you can say as written. I mean, it's just a
Yeah,
vote on it.
it's a bunch of old books.
Just need a motion.
We just need a motion to approve this surplus request.
Correct.
So moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Chris?
Yeah, so just kind of want to, this is the first time I've seen something like this. So they're being declared as surplus. What does that mean? We're just, we
can get-
need
We can get
permission
rid
to
of them.
dispose of them?
Yeah.
Any taxpayer-funded stuff, the
Gotcha.
committee has to dispose of.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yep.
Are these different in addition to the books that we approved in June? They are? Okay, all right. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll just tell you, like, as an English teacher, I am familiar with some of these texts, and they're old and out of date and need to go, for sure.
I don't know, 1963, that's pretty,
Listen, that's probably,
that's pretty current.
right.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
70s and 80s are not old.
No.
Yeah,
No,
right.
right. No.
Or not old.
All right.
Agreed.
Okay, so roll call vote here. Kara, sorry, Mr. Boyce.
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Yes? Chris?
Yes.
TJ?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
And Rosemary? Rosemary?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving along, I'd like to bring Dr. Jones up to talk about some changes, proposed changes to the high school handbook. This will be a voting item. And you also have a memo in your packet that Nikki will address as well around handbooks. Chris?
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for the time. I'm just going to go through the memo that you should have gotten in your packets that talk through each of the changes. There's a couple of housekeeping changes, or a few housekeeping changes that have to do with language. There are some adjusted language pieces and 3 new items, and I'll hit on each of them as we go. So if you have a question, please just stop me. If you look at items number 1,
Chris, can you just explain to the committee how you go about these changes, what you have to enact these changes?
Sure. So we have a handbook change committee where we have students and faculty meet with the dean of students. The dean of students runs that. And they have about 3 or 4 meetings where they go through suggested changes. And then ones that make it through that committee with some merit, he then sits with me and discusses with me about those changes and what impact they might have, so that we have everybody that gets some voice in that change process. Those changes can be submitted by students starting anywhere from the end, anytime really, but officially the announcements start going out at the end around first semester. And then up until when they start meeting, which is typically March-ish, where they start meeting. But students are allowed to submit proposed changes. Faculty is encouraged to submit proposed changes. So we move forward that way, hearing everybody's voice and perspective.
And then it goes to your council.
Yeah, it goes to me, and then changes that I think might work well goes in front of the school council, which you'll notice at the top of the memo, it says they were approved by the school council. That's something that we need to have done, but the school council and I engage in a debate. It's presented by the dean of students who runs the handbook change committee, and then we discuss all the possible changes, and the school council approves whichever changes they think, along with us, go well.
And can you, sorry, just explain who makes up the school council?
School council's made up of parents, students, and teachers.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Thanks, Chris. Appreciate that.
No problem. Number 1 and 2, those are just some cleaning up of language. They're housekeeping items throughout the book. We're replacing where it says he/she to they, to be more all-inclusive in one word instead of the two and the slash. And then the number 2 is to replace parent with parent or caregiver, to be cognizant of those individuals who act as parents but are indeed caregivers. Number 3, we're removing the Panther release bell schedule that you found typically on page 8. We no longer have Panther releases. Our win blocks and the new schedule that we put in providing PLC time for teachers built into the school day have taken away the need to use that Panther release time for common planning, for any type of planning purposes or curriculum writing purposes. We can now fit that in the day with the new schedule. Number 4, that's new this year. That has to do with the win block that I just mentioned. That's just an explanation of win block. Win is short for what I need, and that's a period at the end of the day of 35 minutes every day where students go to where they need most. So through using MyFlex Learning, it's an app on their phones, students can schedule themselves in to see a teacher for extra help. Teachers can schedule students who need extra help but might be a little on the shy side of signing themselves up for it. Teachers can lock them into their win block so that they can get them help. It's helpful for making up quizzes that are missed, any type of work or anything like that. Students that are in good academic standing, they can sign themselves into other places, such as here in the library. They can sign themselves into the gym. They can sign into the weight room. We also last year utilized the cafeteria and the PAC with supervision as more open, relaxed studying areas or socializing areas if students want to do that. So that's outlined the different types of blocks they're called and where they're labeled under number 4. Number 5, we added to page 11 makeup procedures. It has to do with making up work after a field trip, after attending a field trip. The work is due the next day. So a planned field trip, we were running into issues where the students would have something due and they wouldn't do it and then say, I'm out and I need 3 days to make it up per your absence policy. Planned field trip, it doesn't quite work like that. It's planned so the students know, so we're working on getting them to plan and organize themselves so that they have that work done and it's due the next day. Number 6 is the academic integrity guidelines. With everything going on, and with an increased focus on learning outcomes, less punitive measures, but still restorative type measures and due process, we got together and over the course of the past year, using some of that PLC time that I mentioned was built into our schedule, we came up with academic integrity guidelines. These go out to students. They actually went out to students last January. They go out at the beginning of each semester. They're included in the syllabus, and they lay out in pretty good detail what's expected as far as academic integrity goes and what we mean when we say that. The part that has been included that was never there before is the differences under the consequences for academic dishonesty. You'll notice under that, about halfway down on the next page, a restorative hearing is held. That's the due process piece and the opportunity for parents to be involved in the process, the student to be heard and to speak their part. And then after that meeting takes place, a consequence is decided upon. So that's outlined now in the handbook. Number 7, we added to page 18, winter, summer school, and community evening school program. We clarified that. That's adjusted and clarified for criteria, the summer school criteria. Minimum grade of 40% in a course, and then a maximum of 2 courses can be taken for a maximum of 32 credits can be earned over a 4-year period. We clarified that because there were some questions around that with students. We settled on the 40% piece because we have a lot of supports that we offer. We go above and beyond to make sure that students get to that level to make sure they at least have that amount of understanding of the content and the skills to be able to move forward by taking the summer school course and meet with success as they move forward in the programming. Number 8, we added to page 20, this is something new that was announced to the committee last year that we tried last year, is junior privileges. Seniors have privileges where they can come in late if they have a seminar period or a block off in the morning, and they can leave early if they have a block off in the afternoon. So the juniors, everybody wants a piece of that, I guess. So the juniors suggested that maybe we should be able to do that. The officers, the class officers met with me a number of times to discuss it. We fleshed out what it looks like, and what we did is we put the grade requirement up 1 grade. They have to have a B in all of their classes, not a B average. They have to have a B in all of their classes, and they can take advantage of that starting second semester. So they can't leave in the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, they can exercise their junior privileges.
Only on Fridays, right?
Only on Fridays. Number 9 is adjusted language again. That's school counseling. So the school counseling department has a write-up that clearly explains just about every part of what they do and what they stand for. It talks about care solace, mandatory reporting, transition room, all of those different pieces of it. And then it talks about student support services, which I'm glad to see in there as part of counseling. Right across the hall, we have the Student Support Center, where a number of years ago, they were all put together. It erased the stigma between special education, adjustment counselors, school counselors, so that students can go in there not worrying about who's looking at them or who's asking questions. It's all put together. So I'm glad that that's outlined with our school psychologists and adjustment counselors in that piece. Number 10 is adjusted language. It has to do with electronic devices, cell phones and headphones. Typically here, students cannot have their cell phones out and obviously headphones during instructional time without teachers' express permission. So they get a pass to the bathroom, they go to the bathroom, first thing they do when they pass that door is they whip that phone out and they're on the phone. So now what we're doing is that they are not allowed to have the phones and earbuds out during passing time, during academic time. So when they pass from class to class, it's not academic time they can have them. When they're in the cafeteria, it's not academic time they can have them. But they can't get out of a class to use the bathroom or to walk the halls and pull out their phone and put it in an earbud. So that's an
Students would never do that.
You mean get out of class to use their phone? Not-
I'm sure they just happen to use their phone when they get out of class. They originally, I'm sure, had to go to the bathroom. But,
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
so that's an adjustment in language. The cleaned up language under cheating and plagiarism on number 11 is just to match what we're saying in our academic integrity guidelines. Before it was, you'll see a lot of any student guilty, they automatically receive this, it's automatic this, it's automatic that. So we changed it to match our academic integrity guidelines where they may receive that. This could happen, and that all depends on the due process hearing that they have with their parent there. Number 12 is adjusted so students aren't punished twice. We had a concern that students who would receive an extended detention could not participate in their athletic event or practice on the day that they were serving that extended detention. That typically was due to the fact that practices happen after school, so by the time the students got out of their extended detention, practice was basically over. There was maybe 10 minutes left of practice. So they would by default miss that. We're trying not to punish them twice. And so now what they can do is they can schedule that extended detention so that they can still attend that practice or they can attend that game that evening. That is based on the severity of the action. If they do something egregious towards a teacher, well then that decision rests ultimately upon me, where if they say, well, you know, I told a teacher this or called a teacher this, but according to the handbook I can still go to practice, no you can't. So we go on the severity of the action.
And just to give you a little highlight, students are held accountable, no matter if athletes, and this is for extracurriculars as well, but we did run into some situations where a student might have an extended detention on a Thursday, no school on Friday before vacation, and there were 2 contests during vacation, but because they had that extended on that Thursday, technically they were ineligible for another 12 days. And that's not a fair consequence for a student either.
And to that point, And we found that it's not even just athletes, because a number of years ago, we moved that over to performances for our extracurricular activities in our clubs, where they were held to the same standard as athletes for our performances. So it's a whole group of students that quite possibly would be punished twice for the same thing.
What about students who have an after-school job? So if they work on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 9, do they also, again, depending on the severity, do they also have the ability to change that?
We schedule. And when I say we schedule them, we let the students actually, we
Yeah.
talk to the student and we say, okay, what day can you serve this?
Yep.
If it's not an egregious thing again.
Sure.
But,
Yep.
a student gets too many tardies, or a student gets caught with a cell phone too many times, we say, okay, what day can you serve this extended detention?
Yep. Kara?
Dr. Jones, are you done? I don't want to interrupt. I just had a couple of questions or comments on that.
Sure.
Okay, you went through. Thank you for this. I know this is a lot of work, and I personally, as a parent of children in the high school, appreciate, and I probably should have read this more closely, but in the past, outlining specifically the different kind of opportunities within WIN, because I think, I have twins, and I have one that I feel like takes very good advantage of WIN and another that maybe doesn't. And I think being kind of explicit about some of these opportunities that are out here, whether it's meeting with a guidance counselor or lifting weights, like those are things that I think is helpful for our kids to be reminded of, that it's not like, yes, if you need to make up a test or you need extra support and prep for a test, that's good. So thank you for that. I appreciate that it's outlined explicitly here. I was wondering about, number 8 and junior privileges, but it maybe is like bigger in terms of like consequences as a whole. And just kind of thinking again about how teenagers' brains work, just like the specificity around kind of those, you'll lose your privileges if, like I think the class grade below a B-, is that cumulative? Is that for the term? Is that, like how would that look? What would qualify as multiple days absent? Like is there a number associated with that, or frequent tardies? So I'm just curious. I think the more explicit and clear we can be, the better, so that if there's no ambiguity, if those consequences need to be enforced.
Do you want me to address that one as you go? Or?
If you want, yeah, that's fine.
So the number of tardies is when they receive an amount of tardies to receive a detention. So you're talking about 4 or 5 tardies.
Okay.
They're late 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
And
A
then
quarter.
is
A quarter, not over.
a quarter. And as far as a grade, so when they get to second semester, that door opens and they become eligible. So they get their
Okay.
form, they get their form filled out and signed, and then they bring it to the assistant principal. The assistant principal double checks it, has to sign off on it, and parents have to sign off on it as well.
Okay.
So now if they don't meet that grade criteria, we're not going to check every week.
Okay.
So, and we have students come down, hey, that science grade, it's at a B- now. Okay, well, another grade must have been put in. We're not going to run a grade check right now. So you get a grade check run every 3 weeks.
Okay.
So we work with the students on that, because if they've earned privileges, we want to give them to them if we have them available.
Yeah.
But we don't wait as long as a quarter, and we don't.
Right. You don't
do
even
it every
monitor
day.
it all the time.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Thank you. And then my last thought, and I know there's a lot.
Could I had a question about that just came up and I thought of. When you said that, so for a student that does not, so for example, second semester, does not have a B- and all, or above in all their grades, but then they subsequently bring those grades up, you're saying that at a certain point, they might earn those privileges?
Yes.
So does the reverse happen? Like, in other words, like if a student's grade, does dip down, do they lose those privileges?
Yes.
So is that something that people are checking on, or is that something that?
That's something we check on. The
Okay.
assistant principal checks on that through his office, because he's in charge of checking and making sure that they're all where they're supposed to be.
Okay. And then, but could there be situations where a student is on, however often you're checking every 3 weeks, losing and then gaining privileges? If, for example, if their chemistry grade dips down to a 79, but then 3 weeks later goes back up to an 80, because obviously the grades change on a weekly basis sometimes. So is that something that happens? Like they could gain then lose those privileges over the course of the semester?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, Kara.
No, that's okay. No problem. The final thought, and I know there's a lot of buzz at the state level around cell phone use in schools, and I know that's coming. I've already braced them for that incoming. But I'm just curious how that in particular, just knowing how much of a challenge it is communicated, that new expectation around earbuds and cell phones during academic period can just be clearly communicated at the beginning of the year to the
We have class meetings at the very first few days. We have what could be considered a soft start at the high school. Teachers don't go through curriculum. They will hand out syllabuses, but they're not starting to assign work. The first 3 days of school are built in for relationship building. And during those days, we use those win blocks to speak to the classes. So myself, the assistant principal, and the dean of students have a list of things we go through that have to do with expectations that we address at those first week class meetings. So next week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll be meeting with the classes and telling them.
Perfect. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Dr. Jones, good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
On number 11, the cheating and plagiarism, now I know this may be early on, but I think about AI and, obviously the potential that could play. Obviously, someone should just copy something off of somewhere else. I remember in college hearing about 4 or 5 students in the same class with me, and I'm like, I wrote my own. What's going on here? But anyways, like I said, AI is early on. Any factors with that or any thoughts going forward that might be something that needs monitoring, or I don't even know what the phrase would be.
That's actually one of the themes of our professional development this year.
Oh, good.
We've had speakers in last year. We ran a workshop last year with AI. And it actually surprised a lot of the teachers how much they could use AI to help streamline what they're doing. Now, that's not their cheating, that's rearranging lessons, that's helping differentiate. But with students, oftentimes the use of AI wholesale, copying and pasting and throwing it in a paper and trying to hand it in, that's a misunderstanding. That's cheating, and that's also a misunderstanding or not being educated around AI and how you can possibly use AI. So we're working with teachers on how to restructure their instruction in the classroom so that, yes, AI may be something that's used in the classroom, but it's used as a reading buddy, or if you want to do reading checks or partner reading to check your writing. As long as you write something out and then you put it in, you have it check it for grammar and things like that, where it's seen you can do that. Maybe they use it for brainstorming, but then they write. There's a lot of different ways that it's going to affect instruction and assessment. One of the main ways is assessment. Now, instead of how you assess students before, maybe that changes where they have to show original thinking or explain a topic rather than write something out and turn it in as a paper. But those are all things we're working around. We're very aware of the AI issue.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. Thank you.
Stephanie?
So first of all, AI, excellent, integrating it, teach them how to use the tool, that's fantastic. As far as WIN goes, because students stay in their last period class before WIN, unless they've scheduled to go elsewhere, do teachers use that time as additional instruction for classes, like an AP class, for instance? I know there was a parent last year who was concerned about the few minutes each day that was being taken from the AP classes. Is that ever used as
There's
such?
no additional instruction or new instruction that occurs during WIN block. There's review that occurs during WIN block. Teachers with multiple AP courses, they typically have your full classrooms for WIN, but there's no new instruction taking place in WIN, because then that would create an inequitable situation for all students. If I'm a teacher with 3 sections of AP and I decide I'm going to do new instruction during WIN for 35 minutes, I can't hit all 3 of those sections.
Right.
And students may need to go to another AP course or another course that they need help in. So we don't allow new instruction. Review, yes, new instruction, no.
That's fine, just wanted to clarify, thank you.
Anything else for Dr. Jones?
Yeah. Do you want to come up? Nikki had a memo too, because it's part of Chris's. We'll have to vote on Chris, but we can vote after Nikki speaks as well, because there was a recent Supreme Court case that she needs to address.
So I only have one thing. It's in your packet as well, and if you just take a peek, we had to add this language to all 3 handbooks. It was a recommendation from the the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents. So if you wanted to just take a look, this will now be in all 3 of our handbooks. And so this additional language cites the current law, and then just lets families know that if they have questions about curriculum, that they can reach out to the school principals. Any questions? Pretty straight.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. We just need a motion on, if there's no other questions, a motion and a vote on Chris's changes.
So, motion to accept the updates to the 2025-2026 high school handbook, Whitman-Hanson Regional High School handbook.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Are we voting on both changes?
That, all the changes, and that includes Nikki as well.
So it's not just the high school handbook, it's inclusive of.
So I'm going to have you vote the elementary and middle at the next meeting, just because it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
But this is part of the high school handbook condensed, so it'll be part of it. So this is just the high school handbook.
Okay. Good? Everybody good? All right, roll call vote. Mr. Boyce?
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
TJ, sorry. Stephanie?
Yes.
And Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, next.
Mr. Rogers. High school, high school, high school all day today, right?
Good evening, everyone. I actually was watching your last meeting when you guys were discussing athletics. Unfortunately, I couldn't be at that meeting. I was at the previous 3-hour meeting you guys had, but it was so long we didn't get to the athletic part. So first of all, we did start athletics already for the 25-26 school year. We began it with athletic first night on Sunday. It was really well attended. We were pretty efficient with our time, and I think that the parents got a lot out of it, so they can kind of learn the situation that we're in. One of the things that I explained to the parents that I think is important for this committee to know is that even before the budget cut that we all faced and you all had to implement, we were already the lowest funded athletic program in our league, probably one of the lowest in the entire state of Massachusetts. I think it's important for people to know that. And you know, I'm very lucky as an athletic director to work at a school where the superintendent, the assistant superintendent, and the principal all coached and played high school sports. They all value it. They all know how important it is. But the cuts that we have year after year in the school district, there's just no other place to cut. And I was not happy when Jeff and I discussed it. We started actually at $500 per sport, and we got it to what we have now. But I think it's important for this committee to know, I think I included in the packet, but before the cut that we had, we don't pay for transportation. We don't pay for game officials. We don't pay for our athletic trainer. I've been the basketball coach here for 25 years. The school has never purchased a single uniform for basketball or any sport at Whitman-Hanson. We don't pay for equipment. We don't pay for medical supplies. We don't pay for ice time for the hockey teams. We don't pay for gym time for the gymnastics team. We don't pay for swim time for the swim team. We don't pay for entries to any of the meets or matches that our teams compete in. We don't pay for the Patriot League dues. We don't pay for the MIAA dues. Again, that is before the cut that we had. So we're not in a good position. So every year we started, even before this cut, recognizing that through the athletic department, we had to raise money through various ways, through gate receipts, through fundraising. And I said it to all the parents the other night, and I'll say it to this committee. We are so lucky to have the coaches that we do here at Whitman-Hanson, because with their players and through their leadership, that's how our teams look like we're as good as Duxbury and Hingham and Hanover and Pembroke, because our kids do have nice uniforms. And we do have programs that do really well because of the leadership of those coaches along with the kids. I know there's always a narrative that high school sports get everything they want. And if you look at our program, sometimes it looks that way, but we don't. We don't. It really is a product of all the fundraising and the work that our coaches do. So the current user fee that you all voted was $375 for the first sport, $250 for the second, and $100 for the third, with a family cap of $1,200, with an additional fee for hockey for $400. You know, through all of this, there's been a lot of angst and worry on a lot of student athletes and coaches, like, will my sport be the one that gets cut? And I'm pretty committed to, I don't want to cut any sports, because every sport matters. Everybody goes to Friday Night Lights for a football game or for a soccer game or a basketball game, and those are the sports that are in the limelight, but every sport matters. The swim team only had 7 kids on it last year. One of those students got a full ride scholarship. But even if he didn't, that's the thing that connects those students to this school. Every sport matters, in my opinion, the same. Even though it might not be in the limelight. So I'm committed, do not want to cut any sports. But we do have to recognize that we have this deficit. So that's where the fees currently are. Even with those fees, we don't have ends meet. I'm still way short. But we do have some plans in place. We've done some fundraising already. We've had some progress already with the fundraising. And we've given the parents and the students opportunities to, if they have difficulty with the fees, opportunities for them to earn it. And so far, it's been very well received. We have a program called Panther Pals, which is an email that they can send to grandma, grandpa, their coworkers, their boss, their company. And it's a nice letter that kind of explains that their son or daughter plays a sport at Whitman-Hanson. And it gives them, just click a link, they make a donation, and it goes into the student's account. Really simple. There's actually an organization called SNAP Fundraising, which a lot of schools participate in. We don't do it at Whitman-Hanson, in part because they take a large percentage of it. So we kind of created our own, and we get to keep 98% of it. The only thing we pay is a credit card fee. So that's one very easy opportunity for parents to take advantage of. The next thing they have is we have an online Celtics raffle. So the parents can, again, and the kids can sell raffle tickets for a drawing for some nice seats to a Celtics game. And a lot of parents have already sold tickets for that. Parents have the opportunity to participate in a service program. We are hopefully going to be selling tickets at most athletic events. Some events that we haven't sold tickets at before. And sometimes it's a little unfair when you realize in the past that it was football, soccer, basketball, hockey, that indoor track that pay to watch their kids play. It's kind of an injustice that some sports don't pay and some sports do. So we're going to try to even the playing field. If it's capable of selling tickets, we're going to be selling tickets this year at the events. For varsity sports, we're still not going to, as long as the JV parents are in at the start of their time, they're not going to pay to go. That has to be approved by the league. That's on Friday that I have that meeting. But so the parents can volunteer to sell tickets at those events. It's really simple because we use all online ticketing. They just click a button, it goes into our account, and that money makes a big difference. We make a lot of money on ticket revenues between football, basketball, and soccer. We don't get the money for hockey because it goes to the rink, but it does defray our ice cost a little bit, so it still does help us. So the parents can sign up for that, and we've had that service program for a while. A lot of parents take advantage of it. I also have service programs where students can earn it as well. They can help us come clean a closet. Sometimes I make up work. Do this, even though I don't need it done. Because I think we run the risk if we say we're just going to be waiving fees for this reason or that reason. It's hard for us to be the judge and jury about who can really afford it and who can't. So we will have a scholarship program where the parents can explain why they want the scholarship. Myself and the principal and assistant principal will review. In most cases, what we will do is maybe defray the cost a little bit and then offer them some kind of a service plan so we have some fairness in the process that we have. Those kinds of scholarships will probably be reserved for people who are dealing with medical issues. The family's dealing with something or some kind of loss of job or something that's significant. But we do feel like these fees have to be shared equally amongst everybody that's there. So that's the way we've addressed this at that point. We're also giving the parents the opportunity to create a payment plan. And so I guess the action that I was hoping the school committee could take tonight, a couple of things. The first is on the swim team. We have the $400 fee for ice hockey. I would like to add that $400 fee for swim as well. It still will keep us short. It won't pay the fee that it costs us to run the swim team. But it will be, I think, in terms of being equitable, the fact that we charge hockey, I think it's important that we charge swimming as well. So that would be one vote that I would like you to take. I don't know if you want to do that first. Do you want? That's kind of a separate thing.
I have a question about the swim team because this came up from a parent at our meeting in June. The swim team, they drive themselves to the pool. Is that accurate? They're not provided transportation?
So they are provided transportation just like all sports here when it's an away meet. But when they're going to their home meet, just like with hockey, we don't provide a bus to their home location. We do the swim team with Silver Lake.
Okay.
So our pool is in Kingston. So when we have that, the kids have to find their own way there. The kids have to find their own way to practice every day as well. We don't provide transportation
Okay.
for that.
Is that the same with hockey?
Same with hockey.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
and
you.
that's the same with gymnastics as well.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not asking for the same fee for gymnastics only because that fee, the woman that owns the gym is a Whitman-Hanson grad. She gives us an incredible deal. We split the cost with Duxbury. We're co-op with Duxbury. And that sport's almost a break-even sport in terms of what it costs us to run it. Swimming and hockey are their two biggest negative drain sports. And even with the hockey fee, I've been working with the coach to try to figure out how I'm going to still give them all the ice time that they need, because we're still going to be short on that.
Okay, thank you.
Bob, I have a couple questions, if that's okay.
Yes.
So currently 375, 250, 100. What were the student user fees last year?
It was $250 for the first sport, $50 for the second, $50 for the third, with a $600 family cap. That cap, by the way, is exclusive, even it's exclusive of the extra fee for ice, and in case the swim team as well, that would not be included in that.
So it would be
cap.
1,600 if you, okay.
Correct. And I should just also say, Mrs. Niffen, that fee has never been raised since I've been the athletic director, since Jeff's been the principal and superintendent. We've never raised it.
Never raised the athletic user fee?
It had never been up in our tenure,
Right.
since I've been here.
So since 2010, it's been 250, 50, 50 with a family cap.
And in that time, I should say, in that time, we added, because we wanted to add more opportunities for girls, we added field hockey, we added swim, we added gymnastics, we added the co-op with Silver Lake for girls hockey. We added those 4 sports for girls to be in compliance with Title IX, but to give our female athletes more opportunities. And we did that without asking for more funding from the school or raising the fees.
Okay, and then how the 375, so the user fee, how does that compare with neighboring districts?
We're much lower than Bridgewater
Yes.
Raynham. So I guess if people want to keep using Bridgewater Raynham. as
No,
the
I'm just wondering, so Patriot League schools,
We're the highest.
375 is the highest.
Hanover, I have to be cautious because Hanover has gone through also difficulty with.
They brought them back down this year.
They lowered them
Yeah,
again. I
they
know I
brought
have
them
an
back
AD
down.
meeting on Friday. It's on the agenda
Okay.
to discuss the user fees.
I think that would be, I mean, like, I could obviously look up Pembroke's or Silver Lakes or something.
Situate doesn't have a user fee.
So South Shore Voc Tech also doesn't have a user fee.
That's correct.
For their athletes. So I just think that that's really important that everybody hears.
But I think that the students are required to fundraise a certain amount.
I don't think
No,
so.
I see a parent
I
at
asked-
South Shore Voc Tech, a couple
Okay.
students saying
I
no.
asked the South Shore Voc Tech parent, and they said they were required to.
Well,
to-
so that particular parent might be in a sport in which they
That-
say, hey, we're
Okay.
raising money to get
Yeah.
jackets, or we're raising money
Yeah.
to go to Florida, or we're raising money for this or for that.
Yeah.
But for just the
To play, they
athletic
don't.
expenses, they don't pay a user fee.
Yeah.
So Bob, after Friday, can you just submit a document?
Sure.
Through that,
Yep.
get it to me, I'll throw it out to the committee just on user fees in our league.
And I did, Jeff and I have had this conversation. I really hope this is a one-year problem for us in the athletic department, because as I started at the outset, where we were before this raising of the fee was terrible. Where we are now is just, so I'm really hopeful that we're at the top. I know there's so many things in this district that you all want to restore, and I know that Jeff and all the administrators have their things, but this is something that has to be rectified. It really does.
Well, I'll tell you, over the summer, when I was at practices or graduation parties, that was the one thing that parents said. So a couple weeks ago, when there was some email that coaches, I think it seemed to me like it was a statement email where,
I sent
or
it out.
you maybe sent it?
I sent it out, yeah.
Please register if you're playing winter or spring, anything, right? We might have to cut, and that was the one thing, right? I was like, do you know that they also cut a couple teachers? We also cut a couple teachers, but that was the one thing, and we know this. And so my hope, I wrote it down here when you talked at the beginning about how the budget is so low. I hope that was said to the parents on Sunday night.
It was.
That before that, because I don't think in my conversations, anecdotally, they don't understand, and I think, personally, a $1,200 family cap for my 3 kids, I'm paying more than that right now for them to play travel basketball and Whitman-Hanson youth basketball for the 3 of them, right? So I think that which is wild. But I think that those are bigger conversations that need to happen. I don't know that, I mean, we talk about South Shore Voc Tech and how those kids can go and they can be a part. And obviously it's a different population because perhaps kids aren't going there for football or for basketball, where, there are kids, you had camp and that's what they want to do. And, but it still is a reality that we have kids in Whitman and Hanson and families who are getting very different experiences for public education, for the extracurriculars, and it's not right. That being said, and I said this when we met last time when you weren't here, the votes in both towns overwhelmingly were against the override. And we didn't have a choice but to do something like this. And it's horrible and it's terrible, but it is what it is. And I just hope that the parents who are sitting in the auditorium on Sunday heard that. And so when we come into budget season again, they don't want to do it again, And so maybe they'll come out and vote, or maybe they'll change a vote. So
I had a lot of parents come up to me actually on Sunday, and one of the parents, she said to me, my family's gonna have no problem paying this. She goes, what I'm worried about are my neighbors. And as the athletic director, that's what I'm worried about. One of the things that I do is I'll go down to the lunchroom or I'll walk the halls and you see that kid that doesn't have any friends or that's not connected to the school. And if we can just tie them in, get them to join the wrestling team, get them to join cross country. Now, how do I do that when I say, yeah, but that also comes with a bill of $375? That's really hard. And it's a barrier for entry for a lot of kids and a lot of families. And so that's really why it should be a priority.
Yep.
And we talk about mental health. Participation in sports for so many reasons, the sense of belonging, the activity, the exercise that they get. No offense to anybody else, but most people when they're done with high school, they don't really talk about not that it's not super important, so I'm going to get myself in trouble. English class is really important.
Less said, the better.
English is very important, but people later, they talk about the experiences they had together, whether it's drama or their music groups or their athletic groups. They talk about those connections that they have to the school, what makes them feel like a Whitman-Hanson Panther. And a lot of times it's athletics.
Just quickly, with this increased user fee, has there been a significant change in participation?
Only in a couple of sports. Okay. The ones that I was worried about, cross country's down.
Yeah.
Our numbers are down in football. Maybe those kids that would be at the end of the bench, kids that wanted to maybe play, that felt like, hey, I want to wear the helmet, but I know I'm not very good, but I'm going to be part of the team. And now I think some of those kids are like, and that's where I'm worried. That's where I'm worried in those kinds of sports. Kids that come out, we have tons of kids for the golf team. The volleyball team has to make cuts. We have good participation in those types of sports, but the ones that any student can participate in, those are the ones that I'm worried about.
Okay.
But I think the other night, I tried to make it clear to the parents, come and talk to me. I will work with everybody.
Yeah.
I will try to I don't want it to be a barrier for entry. And for those kids that we talked about, that I see a kid and I know that their background, I'll find a way to get them to be able to play. But again, I have to meet our budget. I have to be able to pay the bills.
Stephanie?
As far as, I know some sports had camps, like my boys participated in soccer camp over the summers for years. Not any longer because they're too old, but is that money that also goes towards the athletic program?
No, so those camps are run, every sport at Whitman-Hanson is allowed to run a camp, and most do in some capacity. They run camps, they run clinics. Those are fundraisers. Some sports and some of the coaches do it as a kind of like a part-time job, and they're able to take a stipend for it. Some do it 100% as a fundraiser for their program. And we'll probably see more of those camps as we move along, because coaches can try to lower the user fees for their sports by running them. But most sports try to run a camp, and it's run by that. Like, as the athletic director, I help them, like some organizational things, but they run their camp. They're in charge of it. They hire the coaches, they do the organization, and so each one is for their specific sport.
And then, so that money then goes to into the...
Yeah, their new uniforms, the equipment, buying new goals, buying whatever they just, as the coaches, again, like I said, all the things why our programs look so good is because the coaches do those types of programs.
Okay.
And every sport's allowed to run. Every sport has access. They want to run a camp or a clinic, they can do it.
Okay. I was just curious. I know that there's been some concern about the look of inequality about some sports have really great fundraising and go do really great things with that money. And others.
But everybody has that opportunity. And so that's the thing. Everybody has the opportunity to go ahead and create
But it's got to be up to the coaches.
It has to be up to the coaches to run it, yeah. And again, keep in mind that the summertime is, the coaches, most of them are, a lot of them are teachers. That's their vacation time with their family, so some coaches choose not to do camps or clinics.
Okay.
I was at the athletics opening night earlier this week, I guess, it's still this week. And I do want to commend you for navigating that conversation around user fees. I think I was a little bit concerned going in what the response was going to be, and I think you showed empathy for the impact to families while also not kind of letting the communities off the hook for not funding a budget that allows for that not to be a problem. So I really do appreciate both of those things. I was surprised, Bob, when you started to list out those things that were not covered by the budget that's approved at this table. The one that really surprised me was Corey's salary.
Yeah.
And so that is all through fundraising efforts?
Fundraising,
and
user
ticket sales
fees, and gate
stuff?
receipts, yeah.
Okay, wow.
We are lucky that Signature Healthcare has been a great partner with us.
Yeah.
And they help subsidize that position, but we
Okay.
still pay close to $60,000 a year for
a lot
that
of money.
position, and so we got to find a way to make $60,000 before we even start.
Absolutely. So that was really eye-opening to me. I wasn't aware of that. To kind of build on Stephanie's, and again, like I know different districts are different, but we do not have a centralized like boosters or a team level boosters. It's all just individual parent fundraising and coach organized fundraising.
So I actually was talking with John Barata, who lives in Hanson. I don't know if you all know him, tremendous coach, great community member, and he was talking about wishing that he could have a similar structure that we have, because it really does become, how hard do you want to work? Like if a team wants a new set of uniforms, they can go make it happen. A volleyball team, hopefully, as long as you all approve it, they're going to Florida next weekend as a team bonding trip to start the season. That's a great experience for them. But if they want it, they have to earn it. And so they earn it. And so that's the way we've done it. And we've done it that way for at least 25 years of it. That's how long I've been here. Each team gets and we support them any way they want when they do their fundraising. We'll promote it and give them access to facilities and things like that. But some schools do have a general booster club. Those tend not to do as well because you're not as motivated, right? Like are you going to go to the fundraiser when your kid plays football and the fundraisers to get new uniforms for the basketball team? I don't know if you're going to be motivated for that. But when you know what's in front of you, your kids are going to go to Florida this weekend, the parents come out and they support it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Do you have more comments?
I have had a comment, but it's more like a budgetary piece around the athletic trainer. Like, why is that rhetorical? Like, why is that part of the athletic budget? Could that just be a personnel line item like nurses are? Like that could maybe solve that problem so we can have a trainer. I
So
mean,
we
is there like how do other schools do it and how?
It's all over the map.
Okay.
It's all over the map. But one of the things that Jeff did when he was principal was he created a position where it was half athletic trainer and half teacher. And it worked really well for a while, and it was half in the school budget. So the athletic department was only picking up a small portion of this salary every year. The person that was in that position resigned, and then we had difficulty finding somebody that was qualified for that. And now it's a matter of just not having money in the budget.
Right.
Ideally, and that's a very important position. We have a rock star of an athletic trainer right now. He is outstanding, and I would love to keep him. It kind of stinks because he's not accruing any retirement benefits because he works through Signature. His insurance is better, but I would love it at some point if the budget got better that we were able to bring that back where he taught a couple of periods and then was through the budget. But let's face it, we can't really be adding anything in the budget.
Right.
But that would be what I would like ideally. That was really when Jeff did that. It was like your first or second year, I think, that you did that, and it was really good.
We know, I know we at one point meetings months and months ago and talked about some of the CTE programs that aren't currently being run by the local vocational schools. Is there like a sports physiology or a sports trainer CTE program that the state offers that we could potentially bring into Whitman-Hanson as a vocational program? utilizing potentially somebody, this person or somebody like that,
So-
to part-time coach, part-time train, part-time teach.
So that's actually what we did. When we had Lexi Watkins, Lexi taught sports medicine, and it was great. Several of her students are now athletic trainers, or they go into the field of being an EMT or a paramedic. It was a great program, and Corey would be outstanding at that. So we would love to do that, but again, in the environment we're in, it's hard to add something to the budget, but I would love to do that. He's definitely somebody would be very valuable in that position. And basically what it did was that person came in around noontime, taught the last 2 periods of the day, then stayed and was the athletic trainer for the rest of the day.
Stephanie?
With that CTE program, I mean, I think that's a fabulous idea, and I know that that did happen. So, but we get compensated for that, right? So that helps offset the budget
It
differential.
depends if you qualify. So
Yeah.
let me dig into what that means for
Okay.
any type of reimbursable or supplemental from the state. But I mean, absolutely, if it's formalized, but that's another piece. I mean, we were lucky enough that Signature partnered with us when we had the issue. I mean, I think, what, was it 8 years ago now that they might have picked up the first year or two?
We've been with Signature for a long time.
But they were compensating. It was like, okay, here, we'll support you with the understanding that if the athletes get hurt, they were going that way for PT or whatever. And that has dissipated over time. But it's a necessary. And Bob just highlights a lot of, we talk about athletics, it's a big piece of a budget that nobody understands, but we have never funded. So 2010, we're in the same boat as we were, 15 years ago with parent groups support uniforms, parent groups this, parent group that. It's all fundraising.
Really students and coaches.
Yes.
That's the
Yeah.
primary fundraising group that.
But when I say parents are doing it, parents are writing the check or supporting
Yeah.
that. But I mean, that's something that's a deficit in this district, and we've talked about it. So we've tried to address, again, we didn't have, before 2018, we'd have curriculum. So, prioritizing things, and it's not a want, we're surviving through this. But the user fee too, this year is the first time that it's ever been increased.
Yeah, a number of years ago, the athletic director position opened at Hingham. I used to be the baseball coach at Hingham, and I was approached about, would you want to be the athletic director? And one of the selling points they said to me is, they said, just so you know, our hockey budget's bigger than your entire budget. And I was like, really? And then I started digging into it. Wow.
It is.
It is.
Rosemary?
Thank you. I want people to keep in mind that, it always sounds nice to have, active parents fundraising and doing things. And sometimes in the public, they think that's an option, but it really creates inequity, particularly because the wealth index in both towns are different. And it makes for a school district that isn't unified. It's best to put athletics and all programs in the budget and make them equally accessible. We hear that it's just not a solution to put out, parents are funding this, and what we're doing right now isn't equitable. It's sad that we did not get that budget passed in full. I'm sorry that we're here talking about it, but I do want to highlight that it's a tax on only families, and when we do, even if we would have fundraised everything and dispersed it equally, it would be a tax or an expense that was only on families, and we're public education, so this should be publicly funded.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie?
I just want to ask, and I don't know if this is you, Jeff, or you, Bob, or Steve, or whoever, but I'd really be interested. I feel like there are some things that we end up, when we have to go outside of our school district for certain positions, like tutoring, I know. Like, we don't have an in-house Whitman-Hanson Regional School District tutor, so we have to pay a tutoring program. And we pay more to the tutoring program than we would if we were able to hire a tutor in-house. And I'm wondering if with Signature, I'm just wondering if somebody can kind of come up with this cost.
Oh, yeah, I could.
Program.
We get a huge benefit because they pick up a big chunk of it. They used to, when we did when we had Lexi and we did the hybrid position, they actually just would write us a check for like $30,000 and say, we're going to support you. And they don't, it's not a quid pro quo either. They don't necessarily make our students, they can, but all they ask in return is that people are aware of Signature Healthcare. Like, we can get them into the orthopedic the next day. After the football game on Friday night, they open up their clinic for all of the schools that are part of their network. And they have like 8 or 9 schools that they deal with, but we are getting a huge bang for our buck. We're saving a lot of money by going through them.
So you're arguing that, or if I'm just understanding correctly, we're better off not having an athletic trainer on Whitman-Hanson's budget solely, and by having that shared with Signature?
I think the best formula is what we had before, when we have half and half.
Okay.
Because then we're only paying for, like right now, Corey gets a full-time salary, being the athletic trainer, but in reality, we could get more out of him and have him teach as well in that position.
All right, so yeah, I'd love to see some numbers.
Yeah.
So that I
And
can
the other
see.
thing is that finding athletic trainers is just really difficult. I went through a year and a half, I couldn't find anybody. Like, we couldn't get anyone.
You
And
just
so-
said that we have some alum that have become athletic
We have
trainers.
one
Go
of them.
knock on their doors.
Yeah, but we don't pay enough.
Right.
Right.
We don't pay enough, so, 'cause there is one that but I wouldn't want to get rid of the guy that we have now.
No, we like Corey.
He's been really good.
All right, thank you.
Okay, we need.
You need a motion on,
I need a couple. So the first would be about the swim additional fee,
so state what you're looking for swim.
$400 additional pool fee. So in addition to the.
User fee, you're looking for a $400 amount per student to participate in swim.
Yes.
So that's a.
And that's
not
consistent.
part of the
And that's
family
consistent.
cap.
It's not part of the family cap, and that's consistent with what we're doing with hockey. And their sport is actually, it's super expensive because there's so few kids that do it. If we ended up with more kids that swim, then all those costs get divided by more kids.
So let's do these individually.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to add an additional $400 to the swim fee.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion on it? Okay, roll call vote. Mr. Boyce?
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
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 TJ?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. The next is, and you discussed this at the meeting that I was not able to attend. I think, Hillary, you were talking about, what happens to the students that don't pay? Do we hold them out? And where we're at with it. What I've come up with the parents, and I explained to them at Athletic First Night, we're not going to hold them out if they can't come up with a whole 375, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day that the rosters are set and we're good to go. What I think is a reasonable expectation is that they have to fill out the form, they have to make a deposit, and they have to tell us which plan they're trying to take. Like, they're going to pay us $25 a week or whatever their plan is, so that they have it done by the time the season's over. And then when that season's over, that they would not be allowed to participate in another sport this school year if they haven't satisfied with what's already taken place. I think that's really reasonable. Many schools, I would say most in our league, don't even let them step on the field or practice until they've paid the full fee. I think our community is a little different. I think, to Rosemary's point, there are people in our community that it's hard. When say all of a sudden you have to write a check for $375. So I think that's very reasonable. So I would just ask that the committee to approve that as being the policy, that the form has to be filled out, because you'll probably get phone calls of a neighbor that's kids on the team that were saying they can't.
It's not a policy.
It's not a policy.
You don't want to make it.
This is a procedure
Right.
based on what you already voted.
Yeah.
Yes.
So technically, it's a procedure.
Yeah, I don't need to
that
vote.
can be enacted by the Whitman-Hanson
Right.
Regional High School Athletic Department.
Yes.
Right.
It doesn't
Need a vote. Doesn't need a vote.
Right, because we voted on the user fees.
You're just letting them
You're
know that
doing
it
the
is.
procedure.
Yeah.
Right.
voted 375.
Okay.
How it's enacted is
That's up to
Disney
you.
a conversation with the high school principal, possibly the superintendent.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, technically.
Yeah.
You don't need a
So as
motion.
long as you know that that's what I'll be doing, and then the procedure that we'll take moving forward is that if they don't have it paid from their fall sport, that they would not be allowed to play their winter sport until they have it taken care of. And again, we'll work with them. As long as they participate, we will have a way. There's no reason why everybody shouldn't be able to get it taken care of.
Okay. Yes.
Just for procedural stuff, because as we talked about earlier, I've not yet attended charting the course, but typically, don't things like this have to be in writing before they are.
So it's not a policy. So we
No, but
voted
The other thing, that
What other
did
thing?
vote on.
the
the
$400.
$400. Like,
I mean-
is that supposed to be something that's not beating on you, just
No.
trying to understand the process myself? Is that something that's
No.
supposed to be in writing prior to the meeting as part of the
No,
public record? No?
no.
Because it's public, it's discussed in public. You can bring
Yeah.
up a vote anytime in
Yeah.
public or make a modification as is.
Okay, all right, I'm just trying to understand.
Sure.
Thank you.
TJ.
Oh, TJ, sorry.
I just had one question. The junior, what was it? Junior privileges policy that we voted on required all their financial obligations to the school to be met. Is the user fees one of those
Yes.
items?
Yes.
Yes, and there are certain things that get a lot of the fees that come in. You'd be amazed when it's senior privileges day, all of a sudden we see all the user fees get paid. So that's one of the better ones that we have.
And if students haven't paid from a previous year, are we going to make them get caught up?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
What we've done in the past is, a lot of times those get kicked down the road, and then they get them taken care of before they graduate. Because it's always been like, your cap and gown, that's,
So take away anything athletically. There are students who have debt coming in from middle school or from elementary. If they've damaged a Chromebook, say, that carries through in campus. So some students who never participate in anything athletically, whatever, will come up at graduation time. They get a list. Before we can get you to graduate, you have to rectify any bill that you might have.
Thank you.
Oh, you did?
that's it, yep.
Okay.
And then the other thing is just the field trips.
Yeah, they'll do those next.
Want me to just stay up, so if they have any questions?
I don't know, it's up to you. Do you want to do the field trips
Do,
now?
do,
They're all
can-
athletic.
Can we take
Yeah.
can I have a motion to take the field trip
Approval.
approvals out of order and do them now since?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all right.
Vote it? Vote it.
Yes, so I think I just want to make a statement. What? I'm sorry, to vote. Roll call vote, Stephen?
Yes.
Tara?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Chris? TJ?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, so the field trip approvals, I think, and Bob, you touched on this before, but I think it's really important that everyone understands. So volleyball, boys hockey, girls basketball, boys basketball, I'm sorry, field hockey, no, boys hockey. Those are all, well, the field hockey is probably a game, right?
That is a game. The only thing that the school district would not pay, and the coach, I think now has changed his mind, but I still want to get it approved in
Yep.
case he changes his mind. The reason why you would have to vote that is they're staying overnight.
Gotcha.
School district does not pay anything for any of the teams that travel, even if they're playing games, like, so girls basketball team, boys hockey team, boys basketball team, all play games, but we don't pay for that.
Right, these also, I'll take boys basketball, for example. You ran 2 camps
Yeah.
this summer, right? And the money fundraised from that is going for the student athletes to help cover the costs of this.
Yeah, and
So,
sometimes the parents pay.
Correct.
It just depends on all of those trips.
Yep.
How much the teams fundraise, what the trips cost, and then the parents.
Right.
Pick up the rest,
Yep.
what the bill is.
I think that that's really important, because, I mean, this is a number of years that we've approved trips like this, but all of these are team fundraising, and to your point earlier, they're up to the student athletes, the coach, and the coach's availability, and things like that. So it's not, this sport's getting to do this, but this sport's not. It's, it does vary sport to sport, and it's what they fundraise.
And in all those cases, those kids on those teams, the volleyball team, they spent a week of their time
Yep.
running those camps. The basketball players run their camps. They do the things to raise the money to go ahead and do that. And cheerleaders.
Yep.
There's nothing on here yet, but I'm sure I'll be giving cheerleading one in a couple of months
Okay.
for their trip.
Okay, can we do these all at the same time? Okay, a motion to approve all of these field trips.
As presented.
As presented?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Sorry.
Second.
Okay, a roll call vote then. Mr. Boyce?
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
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 TJ?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay,
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Schedules can be found at arbiterlive.com. That's the only place that's accurate for schedules, arbiterlive.com. If you want to come to a game, school committee members would love to see you there. Your ID gets you in, so we'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. We have a donation.
Okay, we have a donation from Mr. Boyce.
So everything's well and dandy. It's sitting at home. Because of the rain today, I did not want to walk out with an original box all sealed up, and I left it in charge of 2 mammals, who I'm sure will not destroy it at all. But I'm very honored to do this. I really, I tell you this every year. I volunteered for many years in the district. I still got to bring in the picture of when they expanded on the then Forest Street School, because Miss Conley was alive. It's a picture of my whole family. I, as a young 5-year-old, in the new expanded library, and that was before the current library at Conley. So my family has a lot of roots in not only Whitman, but, just knowing and working with kids and so forth. Now, I do have a niece that says, well, Uncle, screen time's important. It's not, shouldn't be that much for, okay, I won't buy your 3-year-old, my great-nephew, a Chromebook at this time. We'll bypass him. So we only went shopping for one. And I do want to bring it in with better weather, but, it's just my honor to do this. I think I mentioned in my email, though, I really wanted to do this as a recognition also to the school council advisory group that attends our school committee meetings with Ms. Kayla at the helm. I see them at graduation. Not only are they handing out or selling waters, they're working the crowd, making sure everyone has what they need. But it goes further than that. We hear what they do with our students every single day. This is my part of doing something for our students that hopefully affects them every single day. And so I just wanted to recognize them in my donation this year. So thank you very much.
Need a motion to accept.
Motion to approve.
Yep.
We need a motion to accept.
Motion to accept this donation from Mr. Stephen Boyce.
Second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Mr.
Yes.
Boyce? Kara?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Chris?
Yes.
TJ?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty soon, we're going to have a classroom set, Steve.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Calendar change, quick, maybe not quick, but just an update. So as we try to minimize the amount of time or half-days that kids might have, I know that's an issue with parents, we looked at the calendar, made the approval in the spring. We went through this and vetted the fact that we don't have any major elections on Election Day this year. Usually that's a PD day for our staff. No students come to school because of Hanson Middle School has elections. We don't have any elections this year. So we want to propose a revision of the school calendar where we're coming to school on November 4th, which is Election Day, and also making a proposal to come to school on Good Friday. Originally, we were not coming to school on Good Friday. We would like to come to school as a half-day on Good Friday, make that our grading day instead of the 2nd, April 2nd being a grading day, eliminate that half-day. Students will come to school on Good Friday for a half-day. Teachers will have a half-day in school with the grading day being the other half of the day, which would bump up our release from June 15th to June 12th without any type of weather. I don't say snow because we don't get snow anymore, but any wind, rain, hurricane, I'm going to get 30 inches in one snowstorm. But that's just a modification if there becomes an issue along the way, but we'd like to make that revision before school starts. I just need a motion.
I make a motion to accept the revised academic school year calendar.
Second.
Kara?
Sorry, I get a little hung up on the election thing, I know we've talked about it before, are there no elections happening in
No,
Whitman or Hanson?
not-
Okay,
nothing
I just
at
want
all.
to clarify that, okay.
Nothing at all. Next year, I think we have a state primary again.
Okay.
And then a general election in 26.
Okay.
But this year, we've added, there's nothing going on, and I want to be very cautious about that.
Thank you,
know?
appreciate it.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, just to vote.
All right, so roll call vote. Mr. Boyce?
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Yes. Chris?
Yes.
TJ?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Rosemary?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank
Thank you very much, Stephen. And you did all that already, too.
Thank you. So just a few quick business office updates for you. We'll go through the audits. Our FY22 audit, we have received the final report back. Clifton Larson Allen is waiting for the school district's response back to them on the management letter. Each of the individual findings will need a management response back from us. I'm hoping that that's going to go up tomorrow and that we'll have something finalized on FY22 from CLA for next week. So that should be coming out at some point soon. FY23 audit, all of the field work has been completed. We are awaiting the first draft of the audit report from CLA. We haven't seen that, but we do expect that to be coming at some point soon. And then FY24 audit, we have started all of our document gathering basically after going through 22 and 23. We have a very good idea as to what they're going to be asking for. So normally that first portion of the audit is all kind of document gathering, and then they take those documents and they will randomly select certain items. So for example, AP warrants, they're gonna get all of our AP warrants for the entirety of the year, and then they're gonna hand select individual invoices from each one of them that they're going to want to select. So the first bulk of work, we're ready to hand off to them as soon as they open that audit. And then there will be individual questions. So our hope is that we will have most of that work done by the Thanksgiving timeline so that we can get our FY24 audit also complete. FY25 financial kind of budget update. Our FY25 revenue is expected to exceed budget. We are still working through all of the numbers and closing out the books. Our interest revenue, I can tell you, was much greater than what we had budgeted. I think we budgeted somewhere around 175,000 and we're around 350,000. We are still booking our June revenue, so I'll need to see what that looks like. That is merely just a product of what the interest rates are out there on the market. And so at any time you can kind of see that plummet. So, but it will help us to close out the year. I'm hoping, I thought I was gonna have a FY25 AP warrant this week, but we did not have any. A lot of times what happens is when our elementary or our admins who don't work for the summer kind of come back and start going through all of the mail, sometimes, you know, there's an invoice that was missed that might not have had a purchase order. So I'm gonna wait until we get everybody back in the buildings just to make sure that we don't have any invoices out there before we close. If we do, we will have one more kind of FY25 AP warrant, and then we'll be able to get the books closed and get a Q4 report out to everybody. FY26 financial update, spending is underway, and I have attached a year-to-date budget report. The purpose of this was not to go through expenditures at all, but to really look at the left-hand column, which is the original appropriation. Given the way that the budget process worked out, this committee has not seen you know, the bottom line number actually in a budget form, so I wanted to get that to the committee, so it was kind of a starting point. The expenditure lines there are not, you know, it's really from the first like week that that July was opened, so there's not much information there. There's going to be some changes here to a few items. I know it's hard to believe, but hiring never stops. You know, resignations happen late into the summer, and there's different things that are happening. So we're going to try to nail down each of those lines. And so there will be some changes just within individual lines. And then some of the naming, you know, some of the lines will change so that it is more accurate to what we're actually spending within those lines. That work has already been done, but it doesn't print on the report until I can't close. I got to close 25 before those naming conventions are going to show on that report. So there will be some slight tweaks kind of there. I've also, just for your reference, included the 8 AP calendars and the payroll calendar and the AP calendars for you. So if you look at that AP calendar, all of the warrant dates are there. So those are the days that we're going to be reaching out and asking for signatures on those warrants. So you can see those calendars. I just thought it might be helpful for the committee to know that's where our plan is in terms of AP warrants. There are times where we will need to add an extra AP warrant. There's never a time where we'll add a payroll warrant. Those will stick strictly to the calendar. So happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Stephanie?
I want to know what the school district is doing with the money that we've got extra, because it sounds like athletics might be able to use some of that
I
extra.
think it would have to go into E&D, right?
If there is anything that at the end of the year that balances, we're not going to balance, with an exorbitant amount of extra money.
Well, no, it doesn't. I'm not saying exorbitant, but it might help defray some of the costs.
So if there's anything excess out of 25, it has to go into E&D. And then this committee can reapportion that E&D for another expense in FY '26.
Okay, so we can't
just take money left over and say we're going to spend it here. There's a process. Like, it has to go to E&D, it has to be certified there, and then we would have to formally vote to take it out of E&D,
And put it to something.
which would affect our bond rating, which we've already determined. So there's a lot.
So like when we go to town meeting and they say, oh, we've got more money than we planned,
No.
we're putting it in E&D, and then we're paying for, I'm going to say a fire truck or whatever, just out of curiosity. We can't do that with our E&D. I just want the public to.
So you can't. So yes. So the process is this: if there is anything left over in any fiscal year, it's certified in October. The school committee will then certify it, and then it comes into the E&D account. If the committee at any time during that fiscal year wants to take money out of E&D to apportion it to a part, they absolutely can. Just like town meeting. But you're your own town meeting. You don't have to go to town meeting to take their free cash. So our E&D is their free cash. They can only appropriate free cash at a special town meeting or town meeting. You can do it at any point during the year to fix a deficit or apply it somewhere else.
Okay, so if in November, somebody wants to say we take $10,000 out of E&D and apply it to the.
Sure, the committee can absolutely do that.
Okay. All right.
In the past, what we've done is apply E&D to a future budget, which is one-time money, which is never a good idea.
No, which is, yeah.
No, I just feel like there were some things that definitely got bumped as a result of, the shortage. So if we can help out some groups, that'd be great. Thank you.
Okay.
Stephen, what's our current percentage of E&D?
I don't know the percentage we have. It's like 600.
I think we're 6 1/4,
And
650.
recommendation, best
Recommendation is
practices?
5% of the budget.
Okay, so
The
there's
max
not
is
kind
5, but-
of, there's not necessarily a bunch of wiggle room.
Yeah, no, my recommendation would be that we build that to 5% before you touch it.
Okay.
Especially if there's going to be any borrowing that's going to happen in the future. You want to try to get that reserve as high as you can.
Rosemary?
Yes, thank you. Just for clarification, and I was confused, something was said on town hall floor about using money that was made for next year's budget. You're not supposed to spend more. You can't spend the money that you didn't use last year until it's certified, even for the town and the schools. I don't know why it was said on town hall floor either, but that's not something they could budget. That's why they have to have a meeting in the fall or another meeting for it. But it's not supposed to happen in the town or the school.
That's correct. That's correct. Thank you. You good? Thanks, Stephen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Playing you off. Yep.
I know.
It's your exit music.
The Oscars.
Motion to,
Processional.
Okay.
so we got to do an executive session.
No public comment? Okay, so I would entertain a motion to enter into executive session to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant in aid requirements, approval of executive session meeting minutes.
Motion.
Okay, roll call vote. Stephen?
Yes.
Kara?
Yes.
Ryan?
Yes.
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 TJ?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Rosemary, are you there? She's not there.
She's not there.
Okay, all right, so we are now in executive session.